They don't call her confiscation Kamala for nothing. Don't take it from us.
And I support a mandatory buyback program.
A mandatory buyback program? That means the government forcing you to turn in your firearms. To what lengths would Kamala go? Well, she doesn't even support the individual right to own a firearm.
I'm prepared to take executive action and put in place a ban on the importation of assault weapons into our country.
We get it. Sometimes it's tough to understand what she's talking about. But on the Second Amendment and your rights, confiscation Kamala has been crystal clear. Her gun control agenda comes straight from that petri dish of bad ideas that is California. She can claim to be a gun owner all she wants, but we all know she's the same anti-gun California radical she's always been. Don't be left defenseless. Defeat confiscation Kamala. Vote Trump like your life depends on it, because it does. NRA Political Victory Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. NRAPVF.org.
The mighty and resilient Merrimack River, carving through the communities of our great region. My name is Linda Lorden, proud president of Merrimack County Savings Bank. And like the river that serves as our namesake, we're a constant yet ever-changing presence. Because to us, it's bigger than banking. It's about powering communities and putting people first. It's about knowing where you came from and where you're going. That's Merrimack style. Visit us at themerrimack.com.
Welcome to a special series of the 5-Minute Biographies podcast, while we wait for Season 18 of the regular show to commence. During this series, we are taking a brief look at the lives of the first 10 presidents of the United States. This is Episode 8, Martin Van Buren. Martin Van Buren, the 8th President of the United States, was born on the 5th of December, 1782, in Kinderhook, New York. His presidency, which lasted from 1837 to 1841, marked a period of significant political change and economic turmoil in the United States. Known as the Little Magician for his political acumen, Van Buren was a skilled organizer and strategist who played a key role in the development of the Democratic Party. However, his presidency was overshadowed by the Panic of 1837, a financial crisis that led to a deep economic depression. Despite the challenges he faced in office, Van Buren's contributions to American politics and the formation of modern political parties remain significant. Van Buren was born into a modest Dutch-American family. His father, Abraham Van Buren, was a tavern owner and farmer, while his mother, Maria Hose Van Buren, was of Dutch descent. The family spoke Dutch at home, and Van Buren did not learn English until he began school. His upbringing in the small rural community of Kinderhook gave him an early understanding of the concerns of ordinary people, which would later influence his political style and appeal. Van Buren received a basic education at a local school and showed early promise as a student. At the age of 14, he began studying law under the mentorship of a local attorney, Francis Sylvester. His legal training was thorough, and by the age of 21, Van Buren had been admitted to the New York bar. He quickly established himself as a successful lawyer in Hudson, New York, and his legal career laid the foundation for his entry into politics. Van Buren's political career began in 1812, when he was elected to the New York State Senate. As a member of the Democratic-Republican Party, Van Buren quickly distinguished himself as a shrewd and effective politician. He was a staunch advocate of states' rights and limited government, principles that would guide his political philosophy throughout his career. During this period, Van Buren also became closely associated with the Albany Regency, a powerful political machine that dominated New York politics. His ability to organize and manage political campaigns earned him a reputation as a master strategist. In 1821, Van Buren was elected to the United States Senate, where he continued to promote his vision of limited government and states' rights. He was a vocal opponent of the growing power of the federal government and worked to build alliances with like-minded politicians across the country. Van Buren's efforts to unify the various factions of the Democratic-Republican Party helped to lay the groundwork for the formation of the Democratic Party. Van Buren's influence in national politics grew during the 1820s, and in 1829 he was appointed Secretary of State by President Andrew Jackson. As Jackson's most trusted advisor, Van Buren played a crucial role in shaping the policies of the Jackson administration. He supported Jackson's efforts to dismantle the Second Bank of the United States and to implement the Indian Removal Act, which led to the forced relocation of Native American tribes from their ancestral lands. In 1832, Van Buren was elected vice president, serving under Jackson during his second term. As vice president, Van Buren was a loyal supporter of Jackson's policies, and he became the leading candidate to succeed him in the 1836 presidential election. With Jackson's endorsement and the support of the Democratic Party, Van Buren won the election, becoming the first president to be born after the American Revolution. Van Buren's presidency, however, was immediately confronted by a major economic crisis. Just months after taking office, the Panic of 1837 struck, plunging the nation into a severe depression. The crisis was caused by a combination of factors, including the collapse of speculative lending practices, the decline in international trade, and the instability of the banking system following Jackson's dismantling of the national bank. Van Buren, adhering to his belief in limited government, refused to intervene directly in the economy, a decision that was unpopular with many Americans who were suffering from unemployment, bank failures, and foreclosures. In response to the crisis, Van Buren proposed the creation of an independent treasury system, which would separate government funds from private banks. This system, known as the sub-treasury system, was eventually implemented in 1840 and laid the foundation for future reforms in the American financial system. However, Van Buren's reluctance to take more aggressive action to address the Depression contributed to his unpopularity and ultimately cost him re-election in 1840. He was defeated by William Henry Harrison, the Whig Party candidate, in a campaign that saw Van Buren blamed for the economic hardships faced by many Americans. Despite his defeat, Van Buren remained an influential figure in American politics. He attempted to return to the presidency in 1844, but his opposition to the annexation of Texas, which he believed would expand slavery, cost him the Democratic nomination. In 1848, Van Buren made another bid for the presidency as the candidate of the Free Soil Party, a political movement that opposed the expansion of slavery into new territories. Although he did not win the election, his campaign helped to draw attention to the growing sectional divide over slavery, a conflict that would eventually lead to the Civil War. After his defeat in 1848, Van Buren retired from active politics, returning to his estate in Kinderhook, known as Lindenwold. He remained a respected elder statesman, offering advice to political leaders and maintaining his interest in public affairs. In his later years, Van Buren continued to advocate for the principles of limited government, states' rights, and individual liberty, while also expressing concern about the divisive issue of slavery. Martin Van Buren passed away on the 24th of July, 1862, at the age of 79, at his home in Kinderhook. His death marked the end of a remarkable political career that had spanned more than 5 decades. Van Buren's legacy is complex, as his presidency is often remembered for the economic turmoil of the Panic of 1837. Yet his contributions to the development of the Democratic Party and his efforts to preserve the Union during a time of rising sectional tensions are undeniable. Van Buren's skill as a political strategist and organizer helped to shape the modern American political system, and his commitment to democratic principles continues to influence the nation's political landscape. Though his presidency may not have been marked by major accomplishments, Van Buren's role as one of the key architects of the Democratic Party and his efforts to navigate a nation in crisis ensure his place in American history. I hope you enjoyed that special episode of 5-Minute Biographies. If you did, why not subscribe or leave a review wherever you get your podcasts? Also, why not check out our other 5-Minute podcasts at 5minuteproductions.com? Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.
They don't call her Confiscation Kamala for nothing. Don't take it from us.
And I support a mandatory buyback program.
A mandatory buyback program? That means the government forcing you to turn in your firearms. To what lengths would Kamala go? Well, she doesn't even support the individual right to own a firearm.
I'm prepared to take executive action and put in place a ban on the importation of assault weapons into our country.
We get it. Sometimes it's tough to understand what she's talking about. But on the Second Amendment and your rights, Confiscation Kamala has been crystal clear. Her gun control agenda comes straight from that petri dish of bad ideas that is California. She can claim to be a gun owner all she wants, but we all know she's the same anti-gun California radical she's always been. Don't be left defenseless. Defeat Confiscation Kamala. Vote Trump like your life depends on it, because it does. NRA Political Victory Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. NRAPVF.org.
Okay, it's official. We are very much in the final sprint to Election Day. And face it, between debates, polling releases, even court appearances, it can feel exhausting, even impossible to keep up with. I'm Brad Milkey. I'm the host of Start Here, the daily podcast from ABC News. And every morning, my team and I get you caught up on the day's news in a quick, straightforward way that's easy to understand, with just enough context so you can listen, get it, and go on with your day. So, kickstart your morning. Start smart with Start Here and ABC News, because staying informed shouldn't feel overwhelming.